There are going to be innovation. That's the only thing we know for sure. It's going to propel a number of different initiatives. But it's hard to predict. Short of regulatory technology, which we all know have sprung from this, they are going to see an upturn, and it's going to continue for many years, I think. But otherwise, I think business areas need to be evaluated and measured against potential cost and benefit. And I wouldn't be surprised if many organizations drop out of certain business areas altogether because it's unprofitable or too complex with regards to the regulation. There are some technologies that I think will be further developed, and one is the smart order router. It's been around since MiFID 1 with the fragmented market, but that is going to be taking one step further. I mean, if it was smart before, it really has to be a genius right now. So I think we're going to have to rename that one. Not only will you have to interact with the flow from regulated markets like the BATS, the CHIEXs, the national exchanges, but you will also have to interact with RFQ flow and with other system internalizers and with periodic auctions and new order types. So it's really going to be a tricky part of setting this up, and I think it's going to be a lot of trial and error before we see where smart order routing will be taken after MiFID 2. System internalization, SI, that's going to be huge, I think. And potentially that is where the dark liquidity will move. Because I don't think for 1 second that the regulators will succeed in their ambition to force everything into the lit markets. The markets have been opaque for a few years now, and there's no turning back from that, I think. So SIs are going to I think, be a big part of the market, unless the periodic auctions will take some of that away. That remains to be seen. Unbundling, I've been touching on this subject earlier. It's going to be a big part of MiFID 2. And I mean, when you look at unbundling, it looks pretty harmless from a business perspective. It's common sense that you pay research to the ones providing it, and you pay execution commission basically to the ones providing execution. But that decoupling has never been around, and that's going to change now. I mean, I think if I were a buy-side counterparty, I would probably do business with, let's say, 5 researchers. So what's the use of having 20 on your list when you can do business with top 5? And then I think you will do the same on the execution side. Probably going to propel innovations around the execution, because, I mean, if you had to choose between a check and the flow, I think you would take the flow every day of the week, even if it was free, because then you can shop around with that flow and do something with it. Whereas a check, I mean, obviously it pays the bills, but that's pretty much it. On the back of unbundling is the TCA tool. It's going to be even more advanced. I think right now we have basically post-trade analysis. So you send an order to a broker, you receive your fills, and the day after you check whether that execution was good or bad. I think going into MiFID 2, sell side are going to use TCA much more than buy side, because they would need to be on top of the game to get the flow right because of the unbundling. So they will not be satisfied with looking into orders post-trade. They would want to see what is happening right now in real time and what can I do about it. So TCA will be an at-trade or even a pre-trade thing. And that will in turn put demands on market data. So market data is going to probably be a huge cost for many firms, but also an opportunity for those providing market data. the pending legislation, it causes a lot of difficulties just to be able to comply. The technical requirements, they can probably be met with your existing infrastructure if you add a layer on top of that, because there are a lot of standalone solutions out there for making these requirements. I mean, there's Activity Analyst, just to mention one, and other vendors has other solutions. And you can quite easily add a system internalizer to your existing setup. You should attend seminars. I know we all get a bunch of emails every day saying you need to come to this MiFID II seminar and you need to update yourself on best execution. And I know it's a lot, but if you attend these seminars, once in a while you're going to see an industry leader up on a podium saying too much, or maybe giving their view on what they think are going to happen post-MiFID II. And that in turn can give you a few hints on where the market is going, and you can take that to your current vendor and say, okay, what's your plan? How does your release cycle look, and how is your readiness for all eventualities that come with MiFID II? And if it turns out that you're stuck in a system that have long release cycles, that feels old with regards to technology, maybe you should realize it's time to switch partners. In the long term, I think you should consolidate everything you have into a single system with a provider that can adapt quickly and have as few legacy issues as possible.